Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description and check out the website, which is linked down in the description. But in today's video, I do want to look at all three models from FiveThirtyEight, the presidential model, the Senate model, and the House model. I have looked at their models before, but they have since added a Senate model and a House model just a couple days ago. So I do want to go through those, say whether I agree with them, say whether I think they're going to be right, just analyzing it overall. So first, looking at the presidential race, Biden's chances are a lot better than they were when I last looked at it. His chances to win are now at 85% here, and they have been climbing for quite a while now. If we look at the chance of victory, Biden's low point was around August 31st at 67 out of 100 chances of winning, and his chances are now at 85. So just over a month later, his chances have increased around 18% here, and that is very significant because, Biden hasn't necessarily gotten more of the vote. If we look at this 52.2%, he's now at 53.4%, but he went from 52.2% to 52.7%, so he went up by 0.5%, but his chances of victory went up another 10%, and that is because there's less uncertainty of the race. When the model was first released by FiveThirtyEight, they said, if the polls hold the way they are, Biden's chances are going to increase, not stagnate, because, Trump has to tighten this race if he wants to win. We haven't seen the tightening so far. I keep repeating this point, but, people just keep saying, wait till the debates, wait till the conventions, wait till Labor Day, wait till the debates, and there has been no tightening, and Biden's lead is pretty much at the largest point it's been for a while now. He's now projected to get 53.4% of the vote, which is an 8-point victory, which would be bigger than Obama's win in 2008. When you look at the actual snake chart, they don't have a map, which is quite annoying, but if you do look at the snake chart, it does have Biden flipping Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nebraska second, Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, and even Ohio. And in Georgia, he's away by 0.4%. Maine second, he's away by 0.9%. So he's very close in a lot of states here. And, he's flipping Michigan, for example, by 8.3 percentage points. That's a huge margin. He has a 91% chance of winning a state that Trump won in 2016. So we look at the popular vote, at his low point, Biden was still supposed to win by around 6.2 percentage points. He's now winning by 8.3 percentage points. And we even look at a state like Ohio, a state that Trump won by 8 percentage points in 2016. We see Trump peaked at around a 60% chance with a popular vote win of, around 2.5 percentage points. Biden's lead in the popular vote is now at 0.4% in the state of Ohio. We've had some recent polls that have shown good results for Joe Biden. We had even Trafalgar Group had it at Trump +4, and we know their polls usually overestimate Republicans, but I would normally trust their polls in the state of Ohio. I don't agree with Ohio and North Carolina, and I could see Florida going blue at this point, given Joe Biden's lead has been expanded, but I don't necessarily agree with Ohio and North Carolina, but their model is certainly pretty favorable to Biden. If we look at the tipping point, and again, that's why they use a snake chart, the tipping point is the state that gets the candidate over 270 electoral votes, which in this case is the state of Pennsylvania, which Biden is projected to win by over 6 percentage points here. So it says that Pennsylvania is the most likely state to be the tipping point. I do agree with that. I've made videos about this before. Florida is the second most likely. I'd also agree with that, but that's mainly due to the fact that it's such a large state that, winning it will probably push you over the line. So Biden's in a very good position at the presidential level. I've talked about this not just in the polls, not just in the trends of these states, but in all these models too. They're all showing the same thing, a consistent path that Joe Biden is doing better than he was before. And if things hold right now, he is going to win this election, and I am pretty confident about that. Going on to the Senate forecast, it says Democrats are slightly favored to win the Senate. It gives them a 67% chance of controlling the Senate, an average seat majority of 51 to 49, which would be a net gain of 4. And we look at the most likely scenario, which it says is the 51-seat majority for Democrats with a 14.1% chance of that happening. There's a 0.1% chance of 57 Republican seats. There's a 0.1% chance of 60 Democrat seats, but neither of those are going to happen. It's a bell curve. 80% of the outcomes fall in this range, and the most likely scenario, according to this model, is 51 seats for the Democrats. Well, where do those seats come from? Well, you look at if you've looked at FiveThirtyEight models in the past, you would probably know that they usually favor incumbents very highly. That's why in the state of Colorado, they give Cory Gardner a 25% chance of victory. I strongly disagree with this. I wouldn't give Cory Gardner more than a 5% chance of victory. He shot himself in the foot, pretty much before this race had even started, having such a strong voting record with Trump, and then he even made it even worse for himself when he, committed to voting for Amy Coney Barrett. So he knows he's going to lose. And you knew it when he's probably known it for months now, especially with all the stuff about healthcare, things like that. Colorado's a blue state by now, and everybody should know it. But Colorado, he only has John Hickenlooper winning by 5.5 percentage points. I'd have him winning by, just over 10 percentage points. Colorado is one of those states that it's going to be very easy for Democrats to win. However, Arizona, it gives Martha McSally a 22% chance. I think this overestimates her chances as well. I think she has no more than a 10% chance. But it does have Kelly winning by 6.2%, which is more than what I have Kelly winning by. I have Kelly winning by around 5%. But I think his chances are better just because of the fact that this race has been so consistently in favor of Kelly. His best chances, were in the upper 80s. He's now pretty much at those same kind of odds. So it shouldn't be too hard for Kelly to win. We look at these polls, and it's just insane. Martha McSally is an incumbent here, and she's just losing by double digits in some of these polls. And I think she's not going to lose by double digits, but she's certainly not in good position. We look at the next state, which is the state of North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, obviously, you probably know there has been many scandals surrounding Cal Cunningham in the state of North Carolina. The reason it hasn't changed the model yet is because it hasn't showed up in polls, and you can't expect to, just change the forecast based off of information we don't have yet. The one poll we do have after the scandal showed most people don't care about the scandal, and that the only people that do care were Republicans that were already sure to vote for Tillis. So whether it matters is another question, but Cunningham's chances, according to FiveThirtyEight, are still pretty good right now. Overall, Cunningham's chances, I think he's still slightly favored to win. I think it's closer than before. I wouldn't necessarily say he's going to win by just under, around 3 percentage points, but I do think he is slightly favored. But again, I do think, considering that they give a pretty strong incumbent boost, it's pretty surprising that Tom Tillis only has a 35% chance. I would give him a better chance than that. Maine is another one of those seats. It has Sarah Gideon at 62% chance, Susan Collins at 38% chance. I think Susan Collins' chances are more maybe around 25-30%. I don't think she's doing too well right now. She was actually favored before if we go back to the beginning of September. Now Sarah Gideon is favored. We've had a lot of polls that have been favorable to her. We've had the fundraising numbers, which have been good for Gideon. Susan Collins is not a popular incumbent, and Joe Biden has extended his lead in the state of Maine. According to a lot of new polls, he's up by 15-20 points in some of these polls, and that's going to make it very difficult for Susan Collins to win, because this is not 2008 when she won by 30 points and Obama won by 30 points. It's not like that anymore. This is a new Maine, and I do believe Susan Collins is going to lose, and I do, pretty much agree for the most part with FiveThirtyEight's model on that. Iowa's another seat with this just flipped. I was looking a couple days ago, Joni Ernst was narrowly favored. Now it has Teresa Greenfield narrowly favored here. And as I just pointed out, Joni Ernst's chances were, pretty decent, and she was very close earlier on. But Teresa Greenfield had never gone ahead, and Joni Ernst's chances went up. But it's been tightening for quite a while now, and just yesterday, I guess, or October 7th, so yeah, just yesterday, Teresa Greenfield overtook her, and it is very close, 0.3 percentage points. We have had a lot of polls, Seltzer & Co., this is the gold standard poll of Iowa. I was calculating it. They have an average error of 2%, and they have an average error on a partisan basis of 1.5%. So Greenfield's in a very good position right now. I think this is kind of, I don't want to call it the sleeper race because a lot of people have been talking about this, but Teresa Greenfield hasn't been getting the kind of money that she deserves, considering how winnable this seat is for the Democrats when you have all this money going to people like Amy McGrath and Jamie Harrison. It is kind of bad for Democrats. They should be giving more money to Teresa Greenfield. But I do think she is very, very narrowly favored right now, and I do think that it is a good projection by FiveThirtyEight. Michigan, it gives Gary Peters an 80% chance, which I probably think is a bit likely. I'd probably give him an even greater chance because I don't see John James being, able to win unless Trump's able to win, and I don't think Trump's in a very good position in Michigan. So we look at this, the models that show, for example, Gary Peters is projected to win by 7 percentage points, but he only has an 80% chance of victory. That is due to the uncertainty in this race. We have a lot of uncertainty in some races, less uncertainty in others. We have North Carolina's race has less uncertainty than Michigan's Senate race, and Minnesota's Senate race, which, has Tina Smith only at a 94% chance, but winning by 13. What 6% chance is there when you're projected to lose by 13? We look at this chart here, we see, there's a lot of competitive seats and there's a lot of opportunities. Democrats have the opportunity to win in Alaska, actually, and even in a state like Kansas, they could get very close, which I don't agree with that. But you can tell that it gives a lot of, favorability to incumbents because it gives Doug Jones a 24% chance of victory. And I don't want to talk about the Senate too much, but I think it's a pretty good model overall. I think it aligns a lot with my model, but we'll see how it changes towards the election. I may make another video about it. But finally, the House, which it does give Democrats a very, very good chance of holding on, 94% chance to 6% chance for the Republicans. I'd probably give Democrats maybe a 98% chance, 99% chance. And you may think that's silly, but you look at this and you see, what path is there for the Republicans? They're doing bad in trends in terms of the districts, how they're trending. They're doing bad in terms of the fundraising. They're doing bad in terms of the polls. So it's going to be very difficult for them to win. And there's a lot of close seats, too. You have Oklahoma's 5th is close, Indiana's 5th is close, California 21, South Carolina 1, Georgia 7. And just looking at these individual races, I think some of them I agree with. I think a lot of them I agree with. It's very similar to my map. They have Democrats at 237 to 198, which is exactly the same as what I have. I now have 237 for the Democrats, 198 for the Republicans. You can check my predictions on my website, godofpolitics.org, which is linked down in the description, so you should check that out. I disagree with some predictions, like Georgia's 7th. It has Rich McCormick winning for the Republicans. This is a district that Trump won by 7 points, but, Romney won it by 20-something points. And this is Georgia suburbs. I think it's going to be hard to see Rich McCormick being able to win, but we will see the fundraising numbers, which, by the way, are being released on October 15th. So that is going to be a very interesting date when we get the fundraising numbers, which changes a lot in the House races, because if you look at the percentage of candidates that win who have more money in the House races, it's around 97, 95 percentage points. It's some higher number like that. Democrats are in a pretty good position in terms of the House. Another one I disagree with, California's 21st. It gives a better chance to Christy Smith than it does to TJ Cox. I don't really believe that because Mike Garcia doesn't get the incumbency advantage, I guess. I'm not exactly sure why they give Christy Smith a good, good chances of winning. She's been down in her own internal polls, whereas TJ Cox, he's been down in his own internal polls too. So those are not the best two seats for Democrats, but I do believe they will win California's 21st, but they won't win California's 25th. I just recently flipped the 22nd district, which should be right here, which does give Anthony Brindisi a pretty good chance of winning. I don't think he's going to win by 4 percentage points. They're pretty bullish on Anthony Brindisi's chances. All three of the Iowa seats it has going to the Democrats. Indiana's 5th, it actually has very close. This is the suburban Indianapolis district, and it only has Victoria Sparks winning by 0.4 percentage points. This is an open seat, probably why it gives Democrats the best chances. Another close one, New Jersey's 2nd district, which Amy Kennedy is very, very close in. South Carolina's 1st, another one of those close ones, gives Joe Cunningham a slight edge, which I agree with. Torres Small, pretty solid chance of winning as well. Even Kendra Horn has a slight chance of, pretty good chance of winning, 49% chance of winning. That's another one of those interesting seats. Democrats have actually a good chance in Virginia's 5th too, which I probably don't agree with. I have this at likely to lean R, but we'll see how this turns out. So, I was long awaiting this House map, and I think it's a pretty good House map. Again, I do think it gives too much favorability to the incumbents. Which isn't necessarily more favorable to Democrats because a lot of these seats they're winning by a lot anyway, but trends are in their favor, fundraising in their favor. I'm not exactly sure what the methodology is of their poll, but, I do agree with the number of seats that it says they are going to get, and I do think that that is a pretty good model that they have at the President, Senate, and House model as well. But I've obviously going to have some disagreements. I may do, some more reviews of some other models, the Economist model, JHK's forecast, CNN, MSNBC, all those models I will do reviews of again. But thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description and check out the website, which is linked down in the description. So, again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.